Pull! Oh! Yeah! Ooh! Yeah! Woohoo!
So, objective of our topic is to explore the psychological perspective of self-understanding and to examining the sociocultural influence of self-perception and to investigate the role of self-reflection in personal growth and development. So, dito is parang ma-explore natin sa sarili natin yung pagkakaintindi natin sa sarili natin as individual, kung ano yung mga perception natin at yung mga cultural na naiintindihan natin. At dito rin makikita natin yung growth, kung nag-growth, kung nag-aano pa ako, nagde-develop ba tayo as a person, kung ano yung role mo sa buhay mo, ganun. Ito po.
We have our own perspective when we hear the word self. But what does the self? Here are some philosophers and their belief of the self. Number 1, Socrates. Unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates believed that life without knowing your passion is not worth living. Aside from this, being unconscious or always doubting is not worth living. He believes that if you don't know something, make an effort to know it. Sabi nga nila na hindi sulit ang buhay mo kapag hindi mo inaalam ang mga bagay-bagay sa paligid mo. Halimbawa na lang dito ang ating pag-aaral. Kung hindi natin naalamin ang mga bagay na itinuturo sa atin ng mga guro, sa tingin mo, sulit ba ang pag-aaral mo? Hindi, di ba? Ayun ang pininiwalaan ng Socrates na kung ikaw ay mabubuhay lamang na hindi inaalam ang mga bagay-bagay, hindi ito magiging maganda o hindi ito sulit sa iyong buhay. Aside sa pag-alam-alam ng mga bagay ay dapat alam mo rin kung ano yung mga kagustuhan mo sa buhay, kung ano yung mga gusto mong i-pursue, or kung ano yung pangarap mo. Dahil kung mabubuhay ka lamang nang walang pinagtutuunan ng pansin o walang passion, para saan pa na nabuhay ka? Ang pangalawang philosopher naman ay si Plato o Plato. Naniniwala siya na ang soul ay immortal. He means that no one in this world can destroy the soul. He means here that our soul is immortal by nature, na yung mga passion at ang mga ability na meron tayo ngayon ay meron na tayo dati dahil nga immortal ang ating soul na hindi namamatay. Palipat-lipat lamang ito sa iba't ibang katawan. Naniniwala siya na kapag namatay ang ating katawang lupa o katawang tao ay nabubuhay pa rin ang ating kaluluwa at patuloy pa rin ito sa pag-exist. Lumilipat lamang ito sa ibang katawan. Number 3 is Aristotle. The soul is the essence of the self. He believes that the soul and the body is just one thing. Naniniwala siya na kapag wala ang katawan ng tao, ay wala rin ang kaluluwa. At kung wala ang kaluluwa, ay wala rin ang katawan ng tao. Naniniwala siya na iisa lang ito. Halimbawa na lamang ng paru-paro na wala ang kanyang pakpak o kaya ang snail na wala ang kanyang shell. Naniniwala siya na kapag namatay ang ating katawang lupa o katawang tao, ay kasabay rin itong mamamatay ang ating kaluluwa. Dahil nga naniniwala siya na the soul is the essence of the self, kaya iisa lamang ito. Hindi kagaya ng paniniwala ni Plato na kapag namatay ang katawang tao natin ay pwedeng mag-move sa ibang katawan ang ating soul. Kay Aristotle ay hindi. Naniniwala siya na iisa lamang ito na kapag namatay ang isa, mamamatay na rin ang isa. For Sigmund Freud, the self is multi-layered. Sigmund Freud believed that the self has 3 layers, which is conscious, unconscious, and preconscious. He focused on unconscious and conscious self because he believes that these 2 parts of our minds play an important role in influencing our behavior. Naniniwala si Sigmund Freud na multi-layered ang self. Bakit? He believes that the unconscious self is the nature of our personality. Halimbawa na lamang na kapag nagkamali tayo, natututo tayo sa ating pagkakamali. Halimbawa na lamang, may saging sa daan at ikaw ay nadulas dito. Sa susunod na pagbalik mo sa daanang ito ay iiwasan mo na ang balat ng saging na ito upang hindi ka na madulas. Kaya nasabi ni Freud na self is multi-layer dahil sa mga nararanasan natin sa araw-araw ay nakakapurod tayo ng aral dito.
Sociological perspective, the self as a product of society. Nowadays, self-identity is important for an individual to understand the self within him. The basic idea about self-development is that the self is not present at birth. Rather, it develops while growing through social experiences. Masasabing ang ating sarili ay hindi nabuo kung dahil lang sa tayo ay isinilang sa mundo. Pagkat habang tumatanda, ang sarili ay nag-iiba at maaari ring magbago ng base sa nakakasalamuhang mga tao. Self as a product of social interaction. What is product of social interaction? Social group is the product of social interaction. Interaction is the real foundation of all social processes, structure, social group, and functions. In sociology, interaction is the gate of its knowledge. At meron akong dalawang teorya na magpapaliwanag para sa self as a product of social interaction. Ito ay ang base kay sociologist Charles Horton Collie at kay George Herbert Mead theory. Unahin natin si sociologist Charles Horton Collie. When it comes to understanding ourselves, social interaction plays a more important role than many of us realize. According to sociologist Charles Horton Collie, individuals develop their concept of self by observing how they are perceived by others, a concept Collie coined as the looking glass self. This process, particularly when applied to the digital age, raises question about the nature of identity, socialization, and the changing landscape of self. And looking glass self theory by sociologist Charles Horton Collie, the looking glass self described the process wherein individuals base their sense of self on how they believe others view them, using social interaction as a type of mirror. People use the judgments they receive from others to measure their own worth, values, and behavior. So parang ang ibig sabihin nito ay ginagawa niyang salamin ng ibang tao sa pamamagitan ng kung ano ang masasabi nito para sa kanya. Sa ganoong paraan niya nakikita ang kanyang sarili base sa tingin niya sa ibang tao na tingin niya sa kanya. Halimbawa, yung tingin ng mga magulang mo sa iyo ay para kang anghel, habang sa mga kaaway mo naman ay para kang isang demonyo. Kasi ayun ang nakikita nila sa iyo. At dumako tayo sa isang teorya na based on the George Herbert Mead theory, which explains that one's identity emerges out of external social interactions and internal feelings of oneself. Self is not evident at birth but emerges over time through language, play, and games. That self consists of me and I. Overview and socialization by George Herbert Mead theory. The self, like the mind, is a social emergent. This social conception of the self, Mead argues, entails the individual selves are the product of social interaction and not the logical or biological precondition of that interaction. Self as a product of modern and postmodern society. According to Lanuza, in modern societies, the attainment and stability of self-identity are freely chosen. It is no longer restricted by customs and traditions. In postmodern societies, self-identity continuously changes due to the demands of multitude of social contexts, new information, technologies, and globalization. The cultural practices of advertising is mass media greatly influenced individuals to consume goods not for their primary value and utility, but for the feelings of goodness when compared with others. Therefore, the self may be in a never-ending search for prestige in the postmodern society. At ang paksang ito ay waring nagsasabi kung paano nabubuo ang ating sarili sa pamamagitan ng pakikisama sa marami na siyang magpapakilala pa ng husto sa atin, maging kung ano ang tingin natin sa ating sarili. kung saan ito ay patuloy na lumalago at katagalan ay maaaring magbago hanggat nabubuhay at nakikisalamuha tayo.
Anthropological conceptualization of the self as the embedded culture suggests that individual identities are intricately linked to the cultural context in which they are situated. This perspective emphasizes how cultural beliefs, values, norms, and practices shape an individual's identity, perceptions, and behaviors. In this view, the self is not seen as a separate entity, but rather as a product of social interactions, norms, and beliefs within a specific culture framework. Essentially, the self is seen as a product of surrounding cultural environment, influencing how individuals understand themselves and their place in society. Sociocentrics refers to a perspective or approach that prioritizes the collective or society as a whole over individual interests or perspective. It emphasizes the importance of social norms, values, and cohesion within a group or community. In contrast to individualistic perspectives, which prioritize the autonomy and rights of the individual, sociocentric is perspectives focused on the well-being and harmony of the larger social unit. Sociocentric means prioritizing the needs and values of society as a whole over individual needs or interests. It emphasizes collective well-being and social cohesion. Sociocentric refers to a perspective or orientation that places emphasis on society as a whole rather than on individuals or specific groups within that society. In contrast to individualism, which emphasizes personal freedom and autonomy, sociocentric perspective focused on the independence and cohesion of social groups and communities. Egocentric describes a viewpoint centered on oneself, where one's own needs, desires, and interests take precedence over those of others. It often involves a lack of consideration for others' perspective or feelings. Egocentric refers to a perspective that prioritizes the individual's own needs, desires, and interests over those of others, or the collective. It focuses on self-centeredness and personal concerns. Egocentric refers to a perspective that is focused primarily on oneself, often at the expense of considering others or broader societal needs. It emphasizes individual interest and perspective over collective concern.
Psychological perspective of the self. Ang sarili po, ito po ay tumutukoy sa tao bilang isang individual, kaya sa bahagi ito ay ang ating sarili ay sumasaklaw sa kung paano nararanasan ng isang individual ang kanilang sarili batay sa kanyang aksyon. At ang me-self naman po ay ito po ay tumutukoy sa sarili bilang isang bagay. Ito po yung sarili na kung saan ay kilala o perceive na in psychology of the self is divides into two parts, the I self and the me self. Ang the I self po is refers to self na kung saan ay sariling pagkilos o ito yung aspeto na sarili na gumagawa, halimbawa ng pag-iisip at pakiramdam. Ang me-self naman po, ito ay tumutukoy sa sarili bilang isang bagay. Ito ang face ng sarili na kung saan ay kilala o perceive. And ang multiple, ito ay ginagamit upang ito ay ilarawan ang persona. Ang unified self naman po, ito ay sumasaklaw sa lahat ng iba pang persona na na naroon sa loob ng interaksyon na ito ng isang tao. Ang tunay na sarili, ito po ay kumakatawan ng ating tunay na mga damdamin at pagdamdamin o pakiramdam o pag
Characteristics of Western and Eastern philosophy. Western philosophy is characterized by a canonical set of thinkers including Plato, Aristotle, Descartes, Kant, etc. It is also characterized by the influence of monotheistic religions, especially Christianity. Finally, Western philosophy has often reflected theories that emphasize formalism and universal concepts. Included ang metaphysics, epistemology, at ethics, which is ayun yung evolving days o evolving process ng Western philosophy. By having evolving days, nagkaroon ng ibang characterization ang Western philosophy na kung saan sila maniniwala sa religion, ethics, kung saan sila naniniwala sa religion, ethics, logic, at iba pa. Eastern philosophy believes that the self composed of each person's personal identity, consciousness, and core philosophies is an illusion. They deny the existence of the independent entity of self that Westerners posit does exist. Pangkalahatan, tinitignan ng Eastern philosophy ang sarili bilang isang ilusyon. Naniniwala ang mga relihiyon sa silangan o Eastern philosophy na lahat tayo ay magkakaugnay at bahagi ng isang mas malawak na pangkalahatang kabuuan. Naniniwala ang mga Hindu na ang Atman o kaluluwa ng tao ay bahagi ng Brahman, ang kaluluwa ng Diyos. Ang Atman ay bahagi ng Brahman at sa makatuwid ay hindi maaaring maging ganap na hiwalay na nilalang o sarili. Naniniwala naman ng mga Budista na lahat tayo ay magkakaugnay na walang mga pagkakaiba ng sarili o sa sarili na ginagawa sa pagitan natin at ang sarili sa huli ay isang ilusyon. Similarities share a fundamental goal of seeking truth and wisdom. Ang pangunahing pagkakaiba sa pagitan ng Western and Eastern philosophies ay ang pagtingin sa sarili at tinitignan ito bilang isang hiwalay o individual na individual na nilalang, at sa kabilang banda naman po ay tinitignan ng Eastern philosophies ay ang sarili bilang isang ilusyon.
So, our topic for today's video is all about the main difference between Western and Eastern philosophies of the self. Ang Eastern countries ay kinabibilangan ng Asia. Eastern naman ay kinabibilangan ng Europe at America. So, yung Western thoughts is more on scientific method na kung saan dito ay mas naiintindihan natin yung concept ng sarili natin or ng self. At ito nga ay nakapokus lamang sa mga individual or sa sarili lamang natin. Na kung paano natin intindihin yung sarili natin, kung saan tayo nabibilang bilang isang individual o isang tao. At saka dapat dito ay may tungkulin tayong dapat gawin na kung saan tama at hindi siya nagdudulot ng sakit sa ibang tao. While ang Eastern thoughts naman ay more on human life, na kung saan dito pumapasok yung tanong na bakit tayo nabubuhay, para kanino tayo mabangon, ganun. So, yung Eastern thought naman ay may relasyon siya sa may ibang tao, hindi lamang sa sarili natin. Ito ay nakapokus sa pangkalahatan. So, sa madaling salita, nag-e-emphasize siya ng relationship with other people. At yung pagkakapareho naman nito ay pareho silang may tradisyon or pareho silang may mithin na tumugon sa politika at sa moralidad ng tao. Itong mga halimbawa nito na kung saan din sa Eastern philosophy ay nakikita natin yung sarili natin bilang isang ilusyon na kung saan dito yung mga Eastern ay more on pananampalataya. Dahil naniniwala sila dito na yung bawat isa sa kanila na kapag naniniwala sila sa ugnayan nila na kunwari, pag may namatay sa kanila, yung mga yung namatay na yun ay banal na sa kanila yun kung tawagin yung Hindu ba. Tapos yung sa kabila naman, itong Western philosophy naman, kung may makikita kayong picture niya sa gilid, yung yung picture ng body dilema, hindi lima ba yun? Yung mind. Ito naman yung yung larawan na yan, siya, parang nag-uugnay siya ng pag-iisip. Ganun. Pag-iisip natin, delusional ng mga tao.
Individualist versus collectivist. Individualist. Everyone grows up to look after him, herself, and her immediate family only. So, ang bawat tao ay lumalaki upang alagaan ang kanyang sarili at ang kanyang pamilya lamang. Samantala sa collectivist, people are born into extended families or in other groups that continue protecting them. Samantalang sa collectivist, people are born into extended families or in other groups that continue protecting them in exchange for loyalty. So, the members of the group are those who are close to the extended family or other groups that are willing to provide protection to each other in the form of loyalty. And pangalawa po, children learn to think in terms of I. So dito naman po ay ang mga bata ay tinuturuan na mag-isip ayon sa ako at unahin ang kanilang sariling mga interest. Samantalang sa collectivist, children learn to think in terms of we. Dito naman po ang bata ay tinuturuan na mag-isip sa termino ng tayo na nagpapahiwatig ng komunidad at pagkakailanlan ng grupo. Next po is individual ownership of resources. So dito po is the concept that an individual has control and responsibility over their use of resources such as property, land, or other assets, thereby promoting independence and responsibility in their actions. Samantalang sa collectivist, resources should be shared with relatives. Bali po, ang mga mapagkukunan ay dapat ibahagi sa mga kamag-anak. And last one po, occupation mobility is higher. So, mas mataas ang occupational mobility, ibig sabihin mas malayang mga individual na magbago ng prosesyon o trabaho. Samantalang sa collectivist, occupation mobility is low. An individualist is a person who is independent and self-reliant. So, dito po, ang individualist ay prioritize their individuality and freedom, often resisting social and pressure and expectations. They value their needs and desires above collective norms, valuing their freedom to pursue their own path. And so, what is collectivist? A collectivist is an individual who values the interest of the group or community over their individual interest. In a collectivist society or culture, people prioritize the well-being of the group, such as the family, community, or society above their personal needs or desires. So, discuss the difference between individualist versus collectivist. Individualism and collectivism are two constructing cultural values. Individualism emphasizes rights and freedoms, while collectivism emphasizes the importance of the group or community and prioritize the needs of the group over the individual. So, individualism and collectivism daw are cultural values in social psychology. Individualism emphasizes individual rights and freedoms, while collectivism prioritizes group unity and harmony. These values influence behavior such as communication, interaction, and perception of success and achievement. They are often associated with cultures where where people express their opinions and prioritize their needs.
Influence on communication style. Collectivist communication and individualist communication. In this style of communication, they will emphasize the importance of relationship and well-being of the community, and may be more concerned with the feeling and options of others. This communication style is often found in cultures that value collectivism over individualism. Individualists. In this style of communication, individualists tend to be more direct, assertive, and self-promoting, and they value independence and personal achievements. They may prioritize personal accomplishments over group achievements, and may be less concerned with the feelings and options of others. This communications style often found in the cultures and the value individualism over collectivism. I can provide the listening ear and or empathetic responses to help individuals explore their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. By engaging in meaningful conversation, I can assist in the reflection and self-discovery process. The people we interact with can serve as role models that influence our identity without them. Usually adopt behaviors, attitude, and values for people we admire or look up to.
Magandang araw sa inyo lahat. At narito ako upang talakayin sa inyo ang the social construction of the self bago tayo dumako sa perspektibo ng mga taga-Western. Talakayin muna natin ang tatlong sanga ng self. Una, ang private. The private self is our personal realm, our thought and feelings. Madaling salita, ang private self, ito yung parte ng ating sarili na tayo lang yung nakakaalam, yung mga personal na damdamin at konsepto ng sarili. Hindi lahat ng nasa loob natin ay pinapakita natin sa ibang tao. At minsan, iba pa nga ito sa kung ano ang ating ipinapakita, di ba? Pangalawa, public. The public self is how we present ourselves to others. Ang public self, ito naman yung informasyon o imahe ng sarili na ating ipinapahayag sa iba sa pamamagitan ng kilos, pananalita, pananamit at pakikisalamuha. Ang public self natin pwedeng mag-iba depende sa kausap o audience natin. Kaya naman ito'y mahalaga sa pagbuo ng ating katangian sa lipunan. Pangatlo, collective. The collective self is how we see ourselves as part of a group. Dito naman, ito yung parte ng ating sarili na nakabase sa pagiging miyembro natin sa iba't ibang social group o kategorya. Yung pakiramdam ba na parte ka ng isang grupo tulad ng pamilya, kaibigan o organisasyon. Bilang pangwakas, importante ang mga konseptong ito hindi lamang sa pag-unawa ng sarili, kundi pati na rin sa paikitungo natin sa ibang tao sa lipunan. Maraming salamat po.
Good day everyone, a pleasant day to all of you. I am John Bert Lloyd Espinosa Pambuhan, and now we are going to discuss the self as embedded in relationships and through a spiritual development and Confucian thought. What is Confucianism? It is a way of life taught by a philosopher and teacher named Confucius in the 5th century BCE. It is the system of ethics, education, and statesmanship, stressing love by humanity, ancestors' worship, reverence for parents, and harmony in thought and conduct. Confucianism is a philosophy and belief system from ancient China, which laid the foundation for much of Chinese culture. In Confucianism, they believes in ancestor worship and human-centered virtue for living a peaceful life. They also believed in the golden rule, which is, do not do unto others what you would not want others do unto you. And now, kilalanin naman natin si Confucius. Who is Confucius? He is also known as Kongqi or Kongfuzu, was a Chinese philosopher, teacher, and political figure. He also developed the concept about education, government, and society, and hope it would help create order in China. As what I've said earlier, Confucianism is the foundation of much of Chinese culture, and more of the beliefs, laws, and many more na pinaniniwalaan ng China ay ibinase lamang sa Confucianism. According to Confucius, it is not seen as inherently existing, but as something that is being formed through upbringing and environment. Ang ibig sabihin nito ay hindi yon base sa kung ano yung na-adapt mo na paniniwala, ugali, o kung ano pa man. For example, ang ugali mo. Halimbawa, may pangit kang ugali na na-adapt mo sa parent mo, pero hindi mo talaga yon na-adapt. Na-adapt mo siya kasi siya yung nakakasama mo, nakakasalamuha mo, siya ang nakakasama mo sa environment na kung nasan ka. Human being is seen as social being, social animal. Ito naman, ibig sabihin nito ay hindi kaya ng tao na mag-isa at kailangan pa rin niya maging dependent sa ibang tao. Every person is born with 4 beginnings, but saying that they cannot develop them to destroy themselves. The 4 beginnings is, one of this is hearts of comparison leads to Jin. The second one is heart of righteousness leads to Yi. And the third one is heart of propriety leads to Li. And the last one is hearts of wisdom leads to Qi, which spelled as C-H-I-H. Now, let's talk about Gen. It means human heartedness, goodness, benevolence, what man distinctively human, that which gives the human beings their humanity. Gen is a sense of dignity of human life, a feeling of humanity towards other and self-esteem for yourself. Gen is a vision of love, goodness, and human-heartedness. Moral achievement and excellence in character, um, loyalty to one's true nature, righteousness, and filial piety. Let's talk about ye. It means righteousness or moral disposition to do good. It is the ability to recognize what is right and good, the ability to feel under the circumstances the right thing to do. The value in the act is the rightness of the action regardless of the intention or the consequences of the act. And let's talk about Li. It means principle of gaining benefits, order, propriety, a concrete guide to human action. It is the concrete guide to human relationship or rules of proper action, and it is a general principle of social order or general ordering of life. And now, let's talk about Chi. It means moral wisdom, and the source of this virtue is the knowledge of right and wrong. And Mencius is the follower of Confucius. He added Qi because he believed that people are basically born good. According to Confucius, concept of self, to become a person of Jin, compassion, one aims to become a person of love. You must be um, love, or you must feel love at all. A person of Jen is a compassionate human being for whom rules and regulations are a meant to an end and not an end in itself. Um, the superior person always follows the virtue of ye, which relates to righteousness. He follows the virtue of Li. He follows the rules and laws of the nation. He believes in and respect its customs. Finally, a true human being has developed his heart of wisdom, that is follows Chi, which refers to wisdom that has been developed through living a life according to the order of virtue. In Confucian, then the self can never be statistic. Um, let's talk about the 5 kinds of relationship. Confucius was interested in how to bring about societal order and harmony. He believed that mankind would be in harmony with the universe if everyone understood their rank in society and were taught the proper behavior of their rank. Um, Ibig sabihin nito, dapat na umarte ka base sa kung anong estado mo sa buhay. kung anong status mo. All human life takes place within a system of relationship. Confucius constructed a system of independent relationships. Um, let's talk about the 5 kinds of relationship. Confucius was interested in how to bring about societal order and harmony. He believed that mankind would be in harmony with the universe if everyone understood their rank in society and were taught the proper behavior of their rank. Um, Ibig sabihin nito, dapat na umarte ka base sa kung anong estado mo sa buhay, kung anong status mo. All human life takes place within a system of relationship. Confucius constructed a system of independent relationships. The 5 kinds of relationship is ruler, subject, parent, child, husband, wife, older sibling, younger sibling, and friend. He believed that the lower level gives obedience to the higher, while those of a higher level protect and mentor the lower. The ruler and subject. According to Confucius, the ruler of the society is the supposed to set a moral example for his people. Kung sino dapat ang nakakataas, siya dapat ang namamahala sa mga nasa ibaba. The subject should bow down and respect the superior, which is ruler. But while the ruler is being admired, he should also be the subject role model. This means that he, the ruler, should act with kindness, modesty, and be hardworking. Kung ikaw dapat ang superior o ruler na nasa itaas, dapat ay pinamamahalaan mo ng may kabutihan, sipag, at kung ano pa mang virtue ang mga nasa ibaba habang ikaw ay nire-respeto nila dahil ikaw ang nasa taas. And now, let's talk about parents and child. Confucius considered this to be the most important of the life of the 5 relationships, because a parent life role is important in harmonies in many situations. It is based on love and compassion and has a lot to say about a parent and child relationship and how mutual respect and admiration required. The child and the family should respect their parent, their decision, and take care of them once they get old. Dapat na kung ano pa man ang maging desisyon ng iyong magulang ay dapat na respetuhin mo. Ito man ay nasa tama o nasa mali. At dapat pagtanda ng iyong magulang ay alagaan mo sila kasi ganun din yung mangyayari sa iyo. And now let's talk about husband and wife. It is about the ideas of love, compassion, and respect are involved here. The wife is the less superior one and has to respect and listen to her husband. The husband needs to also be a good role model to his wife. The husband has to respect his wife's authority too. Although mas um, dinodominant ng husband ang wife, dapat na respetuhin rin ng bawat isa ang paniniwala ng bawat isa. At hindi lang dapat maging dependent sa paniniwala ng kung sino ang nakalalamang. And now let's talk about the elder sibling and the younger sibling. The older sibling needs to be the role model of the younger one. The younger sibling should respect his older sibling through respect his older sibling's decision. In here, there is an aspect of teaching between right and wrong. Ang sa elder sibling dapat lagi manggagaling kung anong mas makakabuti para sa younger sibling. Kung sakaling may naging desisyon ang younger sibling na para sa ikabubuti ng younger sibling, kung may naging decision man ang elder sibling na para sa younger sibling, dapat na respetuhin niya ito. Kasi napagdaanan na yun ng elder sibling. Kaya dapat mabuo ang respeto sa bawat isa kasi na-experience na yun ng nakakatanda sa kanya. At dapat respetuhin rin nila ang desisyon ng bawat isa. And let's talk about friend and friend. This is a only relationship where both sides are equal in status. Each has to respect one another and also to share with one another with its property, happiness, or even their trouble and pains. For example, di ba marami naman tayong group of friends, hindi lang nagpo-focus sa isa. Meron tayong friends sa bahay, friends sa school, friends sa trabaho, at friends sa kung saan pa mang lupalok. Pero may mga kaibigan tayo na mas close natin at nakakapag-open up tayo sa kanila. Kung ano man yung sinabi nila sa atin, dapat na irespeto natin yun at dapat na sa atin lamang yun kung ayaw nila na malaman ng iba at dapat na respetuhin rin natin kung anong paniniwala nila. Hindi dapat natin yun kontrahin bagkos ay makisimpatya tayo at sabihin natin kung may mali ba sa desisyon, magiging desisyon ng bawat isa upang maliwanagan ang paniniwala ng bawat isa. And now let's talk about the filial piety. In family relationships, Confucianism teaches the importance of filial piety. Filial piety is a relationship through honoring one's parent and worshiping one's ancestor. It means to have respect for your parents, elder, and ancestor. Sa filial piety, mas pinaniniwalaan nila na dapat respetuhin mo ang nakakataas sa iyo dahil sila ang mas nakakaalam na kung ano ang mas nararapat para sa iyo. Kung ano man maging desisyon nila, ibig sabihin nun na pagdaanan na nila yon kaya isinasuggest lamang nila sa iyo. In the Philippine setting, marami tayong paniniwala na dapat magmano at respetuhin ang mas nakakataas. Dahil ito ang pinaniniwalaan sa Confucianism at ito ay nakapaloob sa filial piety na paniniwala. At ngayon ay talakayin naman natin ang hierarchical piety. Each of the 5 relationship is a hierarchical relationship. The relation teaches its followers to show reverence to people of higher status or social rank. Dito naman sa paniniwala na to, walang pinipili. Dapat na lahat ng mas nakakataas na estado sa buhay ay dapat na respetuhin. Kung halimbawa na lang laman dito na kung mayaman ang isang tao at mahirap ka, dapat na magbigay galang ka, ganun. Parang exaggerated ang paniniwala na ito. At ngayon naman ay talakayin natin ang The Golden Rule. Confucius believed that ethics could be summed up by the rule, do not do unto others, or do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. It means treat others as you would like them to treat you. Ibig sabihin, kung gusto mo na ituring ka o kaya gawin sa'yo kung ano yung makabubuti o mabuti, dapat na gumawa ka rin ng mabuti sa kapwa mo. Di ba lahat naman tayo naniniwala sa karma? Kung may ginawa ka mang masama sa ibang tao, darating rin yung panahon na karma ang maghuhusga sa'yo. Yun lamang at dito na nagtatapos ang ating talakayan. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Muli ako si John Bert Lloyd Pambuhan at dito na nagtatapos ang ating talakayan. Maraming salamat.